Hey guys, good afternoon or early evening, I should say. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and it is great to be with you. We're trying different times to see, what works the best because we know no time is actually a great time. So what we try to do is basically, vary the times just to see if we get different people. But most of the people watch us on our replays on the podcast, which comes out 24 hours later. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you guys every single time I'm on the air with you. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I want to thank you, whether you're here today at 4:30 p.m., 4:30 a.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., or maybe even noontime or even 12 midnight. Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. So our master topic for the whole week, which always starts on Saturday and ends on Friday, realizing your potential to achieve. We're on Series 3. We're on Show 23. But the granular for today is Navigating Life's Conundrums. Series 3, Show 23, Episode number 4. So I know what you're probably asking me, John. What the heck is a conundrum? So a conundrum, according to our good friends at Merriam-Webster online, it's a noun. It's an intricate and difficult problem. And it could be also referenced as a question or a problem having only a conjectural answer. A riddle whose answer is or involves a pun. For example, why didn't the lost hikers starve in the desert? Because of the sand, which is there. Yeah, no, that's terrible. But that came from Merriam-Webster, so I do want to give them full credit for the definition and for that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the first thing I want to share with you, and that is something called metaphor magic. So what the heck is metaphor magic? Well, metaphor magic allows us to see a situation in a different light. Does that make sense? You ever heard of a metaphor magic before? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. It has to do with modeling, symbolic modeling, and using what we call visual metaphors, which we'll get into in just a minute. And this process allows us to have people, including ourselves, to be able to explore a question or a topic of interest by constructing a metaphoric landscape with objects. Metaphoric magic is basically it's a concept you share with learners, and they may want to know how it's understood. And you use metaphor magic techniques so that the learner can relate the learning in their own words, right? For example, a facilitator asks their learners to pick an object that represents one thing they learned in their certified, let's say, CPR class. Students pick up a pen, their workbook, a desk lamp, a cup, tea, or something else. And so when we think about this for a moment, one learner may share they were energized by the workshop as they get energized by a hot cup of tea. Another learner cannot wait to try out the techniques that fascinate them, which they learned, and show off the workbook where they have all of them listed. After everyone has a chance to go, the facilitator shares a globe and how energizing were the interactions and what the learners shared from the world over. So it's a creative way to get our mind to get on board. That's the best thing about it. All right, so now that we know what a conundrum is, let's go into Merriam-Webster's definition of what is a metaphor. All right, so according to Merriam-Webster, it's a noun. It's a figure of speech in which a word or phrase literally denotes one kind of object or idea is used in place of another to suggest a likeness or an analogy between them. You might have heard the phrase, I'm drowning in money. Well, they're not really drowning. It means they have so much money that it's all around them. You might hear the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs. It's not really raining cats and dogs. It's actually raining very hard. And so thinking about a metaphor can be very, very enlightening for everyone. Okay. Other people get inspired by metaphors. I could eat a horse. I'm very hungry. It all went pear-shaped to go wrong. There's no skin off my back. It doesn't affect me negatively, but it might affect others. She's an open book. She has nothing to hide, right? That's what that means. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Means that he shows his feelings readily. It's showtime. Basically, it's time to start. These are the dog days of summer. It's too hot to do anything but be lazy and stay cool. You're building castles in the air. You're making realistic, but you're making unrealistic plans because there's nothing to support a castle that's built in the air. I was a million miles away. My mind was wandering. Get the idea? He marches to his own drummer. He has his own way of doing things. Splitting hairs. You're paying too much attention to the insignificant details. Nitpicking. You bring attention to tiny faults. The whole enchilada. The whole thing, basically, everything, the whole huge thing. A 9-to-5 job. A work week times during business hours. Hit the books means to study intensely. Cover your bases. It's coming from baseball. It means to make sure to consider all the possible outcomes. Because if you don't cover all your bases, somebody might steal, right? Somebody might actually get to another base, or they might actually get to home, which is worse. This place is a zoo. It means it's very chaotic. To carry a torch for someone is to have unrequited romantic feelings toward them. Blood from a turnip, working on a task with no hope of success. Same thing, blood from a stone. Step up to the plate, another baseball metaphor. This one means to take action when it's needed. A parade maker, a person who drives too slowly. The passing lane, forming a parade of sorts behind them. That's what a parade maker is referred to as. More than you can shake a stick at it. More than you can easily handle. Heart of gold, a way of describing someone who is very kind and generous. My dogs are barking. My feet hurt. That's not a very common one. Go back to the drawing board to start back at the very beginning. Cut me some slack. No one's cutting anything. Just be more forgiving about the errors and the faults. Because when a rope is slack, the boat has more room to maneuver. So cut me some slack. All right. To get out of hand, to become out of control. To hit the sack, go to bed. To be on the ball, another baseball metaphor. This one means to be alert and reactive to a given situation. To feel under the weather, to feel sick. Speak of the devil, what someone says when a person who was the subject of the conversation joins the conversation circle. To bite the bullet, to do something unpleasant quickly and with force so as to have it be over quickly. A dime a dozen, a way to describe something plentiful. To cut corners, to do something poorly so as to save time or money. To miss the boat, to come late for something, to let an opportunity go because of inattention, lack of time, right? I think that's a very, very important one. All right. Thinking about this probably has you maybe a little confused, but let's share a few more. To miss the boat, It came too late for something. You let an opportunity slip through your fingers because of inattention to lack of time. To pull someone's leg doesn't really mean you're pulling their leg. To lie to someone as a way to tease them. Mark my words, no one's going to mark anything you say. What someone says before making a prediction, they are certain it will come true. To have kittens, to worry excessively or unnecessarily about something. To wrap your head around something. To take time to understand a difficult or hard to believe concept. Mama bear, an overly protective mother. A day late and $1 short, a way of describing something that is inadequate for solving a given problem. Bent out of shape, a way of describing an angry person by the skin of your teeth. Just barely. Salad days, times of plenty and happiness. A hang dog expression. You describe someone who looks sad or depressed. To get caught red-handed. There was no red hand. To get caught in the middle of doing something illegal or forbidden or not allowed. We're on a wild goose chase. Of course, we're not really chasing goose. It's a pointless or hopeless endeavor that's going nowhere. Herding cats. A way of describing a situation that is difficult or frustrating. The elephant in the room. Topic that everybody is thinking about, but nobody is talking about. Hit the nail on the head to get something exactly right. My teacher is a monster. Now, your teacher is really not a monster, but the homework assignment is a beast, right? My home is my castle. I think realizing this is probably one of the hardest things for people that are learning the English language that haven't spoken English before. And so knowing that these things can be used to convey information is really cool. And this takes me to our next point, which is really cool. And that is it a 6 or is it a 9? Is it a 6 or a 9? Now, if you look at a 6 one way, it looks like a 6. If you look at it from another angle, it looks like a 9. That's pretty wild. On golf clubs, they actually have the line on, let's say, the bottom, so you know that it's a 6, and then the line at the top, right? Handy. So is it a 6 or a 9 is talking about a metaphor, right? In the perception. Because what happens is we get a conundrum, right? We know what that is. A challenging problem, right? So whenever we get a conundrum, okay, navigating them might not be the easiest thing. I'm going to share that with you right now. It might not be the easiest thing for you to do. How? I think it works because people understand things. Okay? People understand how things actually work. All right? They understand how things work. If they understand how things work, then maybe you'll have potential to do certain things. Maybe you'll have potential to do certain things. And if you have potential to do certain things, then your life could really change. Your life could really change. that has a very interesting caveat to it, doesn't it? Your life can change when you change your perspective. Your life can change when you change your perspective. That's pretty neat, if you ask me. It's very neat. Thinking about the whole thing with the conundrum, and we talked about metaphor magic and knowing how to navigate conundrums because they're going to happen. It's important that when you get a conundrum, that's kind of also, you get, two people that are basically believing that they're right, but they're really wrong. That's why sometimes conundrums happen. Okay. Oh, and it's funny how we get all these people on here. Like, we get spammers. And I have to tell you there, buddy, breaking into somebody's podcast with cheap stuff like you're doing, that's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And I don't know why you guys think you can just do this. But I've got to tell you that it's bad. It's bad because they give you some site to go on. And, the funny thing is, we get a lot of these people from a platform called Twitch. And I got to tell you, Twitch has had a lot of people that have abused the platform. And so I will tell you that coming into a show and trying to pasting, this is why we have moderators so that they don't come onto the screen. So when two people can't come to an agreement on something, we get a conundrum. It's an example of a conundrum. So we learned a lot of valuable things here today. We learned about, more things that can help us with potential. We learned about more things that are going to be with life's conundrums, right? We learned about metaphor magic. We learned that words can mean something, but not what they're actually on paper. When somebody says to you, you light up my life, that was a song, right? You don't really light their life. Well, you bring joy to their life. So that's kind of where that comes from, There are metaphors for eating, right? I could eat a whole house. I could eat a truck, right? You're not really going to eat a truck, but it's that thing that's doing it, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic day today. And I hope that you will take these little nuggets I've shared with you, and I hope you'll apply them to your life. And I hope you'll be able to realize your potential to achieve is actually within your grasp. But you have to first believe. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you will achieve. I will catch you guys on another show real soon. So have yourself a fantastic rest of your night. Bye-bye now.